What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to F1 25 Driver Career Mode for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And if you missed last episode, it was the Bahrain Grand Prix, a track that I knew I would be strong at, but still a much better result than I had hoped for, or at least thought I would get. A P3. We defended pretty hard throughout most of it, had a great ERS strategy, and we were able to get a reasonably comfortable podium position. Nowhere near the guys in front, but the title fight between Verstappen and Norris is definitely starting to heat up. We've got the guys behind us starting to catch up a little bit as well. We're only in P3 in the standings because of our consistency. If you look at the guys behind us, they've all had pretty bad results. Like Leclerc, for example, has had pretty bad qualifying runs, but he's starting to catch up to the rest of the field. Sonoda just had a bad result in P11. Piastri had a bad result, DNF, in Australia, sorry. Russell, P14 in Japan. Hamilton, P8 in Japan. So once those big guys start getting consistent, that's when we're going to start dropping down. And I assume our real pace is, fighting with Albon and Sainz and probably Antonelli once Antonelli starts picking up some results. Only 6 points so far for him, but 53 points for us has pretty much propelled and propped Racing Bulls up into P5 in the standings, which I figure we're going to stay at for a while unless Williams keeps scoring points. Of course, Albon and Sainz are equal right now, but eventually over the course of a season, no matter how well we do, I think Williams might catch up if, it is basically a 2v1. So we really need Hajar to start picking up points. We know he's capable. Obviously, hopefully soon we get the driver ratings updates, which will, boost people like Hajar and Piastri. So we'll see, whatever. But the next race, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Jeddah, is a track that I definitely used to really struggle on back on F1 23. But once it clicked, it clicked. I don't know if we'll do particularly well on this one. It's basically a track all about speed, which we are not the quickest car on the grid. We're still pretty good. We're up there. The 5th fastest team, which is not bad at all, with the powertrain being the best part of our cars. So I think we can finish ahead of, all the teams behind us. But when it comes to Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull and McLaren, it might be a little bit more difficult. And speaking of our vehicle, going to our vehicle, I'm putting in some new engine parts, keeping an eye on the engine wear, of course. So we need a new ICE, so we're putting that in, and a new MGU-H. And I also found out you can now have an unlimited amount of gearboxes. Well, not really unlimited, but you can have pretty much a gearbox for every single race, which isn't needed in my opinion, but it's there, so we don't have to ever worry about taking penalties for gearboxes unless we change them after qualifying has begun. But other than that, that's all we've really got right now. We've got the Venturi tunnels arriving soon, but this is a part that we've rushed, especially for Jeddah. So hopefully we get it. Yes, we do. That was a 55% failure chance, but we got it, and that is going to be big for us heading into the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Now, this is going to look great. We've already got some graphical enhancements for this game since we dropped the last gen, but also this track got an update last year. So this is going to look fantastic, particularly at night, and I can't wait to get into it. But first of all, I do want to load into the trailer, the workstation, whatever, just to have a look at the R&D tree, just to see where we are in terms of all of this. So Haas have brought in some upgrades. I think Aston Martin may have brought in a minor upgrade. We brought a major one, so that's 2 major ones in a row because we brought one in for Bahrain as well. I don't know if it's major, but I mean, judging by those lines, it is. Pretty much everybody is bringing in upgrades other than Williams and Alpine. Williams really needs to start bringing in upgrades in because, they're qualifying pretty high. Had a bad strategy last time out with Albon, but that Williams car is capable of some big positions, and they're kind of wasting it right now. Aston Martin, capable of it as well. They were a bit unlucky last time out. I'm pretty sure Alonso did get points in Bahrain, despite a rough qualifying for him. Yes, he got P10, but yeah, they're sitting on 3 points apiece, those Aston Martins. They are really not living up to that car's potential. Very similar to the in real life season, except Stroll's doing worse, Alonso's doing a little better. But actual genuine race pace, we know Alonso's doing better than Stroll. It's just when Aston have scored points, it just happens to be Stroll of all people. But yeah, McLaren bringing in upgrades, which is good for them. Red Bull also bringing in upgrades to try and keep up. Minor upgrades for Ferrari and Mercedes. So there's not going to be major changes to the pack. Haas actually have gotten pretty unlucky with some of their races so far, particularly in terms of Esteban Ocon, 2 P11s and a P12. So they've gotten really close to points. They've made it to Q3 a couple of times. So that upgrade will really help them, especially in terms of competing with Aston Martin and us. So we'll see if we run into a Haas legitimately for track position in the race. But without further ado, that's pretty much all we've got to say. There's the weekend preview right there. It's business as usual. I'm not really sure where we're going to end up in terms of the full race, but I am once again aiming for as many points as possible. So top 7 is usually my aim. Top 5, maybe a P5, we'll see. But without further ado, let's get into Jeddah qualifying.
Welcome to the Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who will be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying.
So here we are at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, and it is looking stunning. Of course, the track was updated last year, but F125, as I keep mentioning every episode, you know, it gives that little bit more in terms of graphical fidelity. Of course, you know, we dropped last gen, and so it's just PS5, it's just Xbox Series X, it's just PC that F125 is available on now, and it looks stunning. I'm a little bit jealous of those guys on PC that have path tracing, but it really isn't that big of a difference anyway. You would hardly notice it, at least on YouTube videos anyway. I don't know how it will look in person, but yeah, already struggling on this track. As you can tell, we're going to have to go again now on a more worn set of soft tires. Unfortunately, this has never been one of my strongest tracks. In fact, it is probably my weakest track of all. Even though arguably results-wise, you could say Baku is my weakest if F123 was anything to go by. We got like 1 podium finish in the 5 seasons that we did on that game. And we got much better results here at Jeddah. I think we won at Jeddah in season 5, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, we've gone from what is most likely my strongest track in Bahrain to what is most definitely my weakest track here in Jeddah. But it's not a bad start, a 130.3, and then improving by just under a tenth gets us into P9. So, you know, we're good enough to get out of Q1 at the very least. And yeah, we just got to make sure that we keep providing clean laps. Not too big surprises, of course. The midfield is so close together. It's always weird to see Fernando Alonso knocked out in Q1. But Albon, after flying high last race, he is out in Q1 in P18. If it's not one Williams getting eliminated in Q1, it's most likely the other. And this time it is Carlos Sainz who makes it through. We got a 130.7 right there. But you know me, I always go out on a scrubbed set of tyres for the first lap. In the hopes of, you know, saving as many tyres as possible if we need a soft tyre in the race. But that first lap was good enough. I have a sneaking suspicion that I think I can pretty much confirm without looking that the AI definitely use a scrubbed set of tyres as well. They try to save some tyres or maybe even go out for one lap, hence why you see some Ferraris knocked out in Q1 sometimes. But yeah, pretty good lap from us, just under 0.6 improvement. That original lap was good enough for a P12, so we're looking pretty good even on a scrub set compared to other drivers. But we just make it through to Q3 in P10 right there. And yeah, Hamilton has a much better qualifying this time. I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but he nearly got knocked out in Q1. But the big surprise this time is that both Mercedes cars are out. Of course, we're waiting for Antonelli's rating to get bumped up, but George Russell out in P15. Maybe some engine wear starting to come in now. I think I put in a new ICE for this episode. I may have mentioned that in the first clip. I record the first clip like a day or so before commentating on qualifying and the race, so there are some things that I probably mentioned earlier on in the episode that I just completely forget about later on, but I'm pretty sure I did put in a new ICE for this race, especially for this race, because, you know, it's Jeddah. But we're only doing one lap here of Q3, and that is the cleanest Sector 1 that I have ever done. Of course, we went on the most scrub set tyres in the first one. I just wanted to see how worn soft tyres feel. I think we could pretty much confirm that we're not going to be using the softs in the race. They wear out really quick. But look at that, Pierre Gasly in P7, Carlos Sainz P8, Esteban Ocon P9. So all of those guys just flying high here. Funnily enough, Esteban Ocon in my team career episode, if you guys haven't checked that out, got a P4 in the Australian Grand Prix. So we know the Haas is very, very capable of some high positions as we get a P9. So I think that's our lowest qualifying position so far, joint lowest, which isn't too bad at all, actually. I'm quite pleasantly surprised that we even got into the top 10, but there was clearly some pace, you know, that to find there, as Gasly in the Alpine has gone quicker than us, and Sainz. And we know our car is better than the Williams. Maybe it will come down to you know, powertrain, but being slower than the Alpine is surprising. But the Alpine's got a really good chassis compared to us. It might even just come down to the chassis, because we have a pretty weak chassis. But yeah, we're applying a new chassis upgrade, so hopefully it won't be that bad soon. But yeah, with that being said, it is time to go to the grid.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the Lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday. But in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was around 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there, you know, there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well, in terms of strategy, you're not going to be too surprised. It's another mediums to hard strategy. However, I don't have much experience on the hards other than like a few laps. I always go out on the hards first, but I don't know how they would be for a longer stint. The mediums for 5 laps I did for the race strategy. I don't know how those are going to be 10 laps in, but we're aiming for about 12 laps on them. Of course, there is going to be a lot of dirty air. Like, the dirty air is really strong on this game, and Jeddah is going to be the worst track for it, you know? So many cars following each other on such a narrow track as we now go to 5 red lights. And it's lights out, we're underway, and we jumped up to P8. I think Charles Leclerc got a penalty, so we started P8. We've jumped up to P7 now, overtaking Sainz. Lando Norris has overtaken Verstappen, as we are now side by side with the 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton, settling in behind Piastri here. Gasly flying high in P4. He's looking to get past Yuki Tsunoda, and Piastri defends that pretty well. Fair play. As he remains in P5. We're going to be in P6 now following these cars. Yeah, a lot of dirty air is going to be in this particular section. If we thought the steering was difficult before in qualifying, it is going to be horrible in the race. So I'm kind of hoping that a lot of the cars ahead of us get away from us. If we can get I think we can get like a P4, maybe a P3. We've never really competed with Tsunoda outside of in terms of pure pace. We've always gotten away from Tsunoda in terms of strategy, but Piastri, I think he'll overtake Gasly, so Gasly is going to be our target for this race. I'm pretty sure he is in P4. I don't know how strong the Alpine's going to be in the race. Maybe qualifying was a fluke, as we now go on to lap 2. DRS enabled, of course. Piastri looking to make a move on Gasly. Gasly looking to make a move past Tsunoda. So really nice AI battles here as we look to overtake Piastri. It's now side by side, and this time we are going to commit to the outside and get past Oscar Piastri. So yeah, he really needs a driver rating update. They need to update that soon, like within the next week or so. I do not want to do a whole 24 race season with Lando Norris ahead of everybody with no challenge whatsoever. Just because he's in a much better car and Piastri is much lower rated. But yeah, the move on Piastri didn't last very long as we skipped ahead to lap 5. Piastri has already overtaken us, and his pace will be starting to come in now as me and Gasly. We're not going to be able to handle the tyres as well as that McLaren. We know how good that McLaren really is, as he's now looking to overtake Gasly. Gasly goes to the inside to defend. We're going to look to the outside perhaps to get an overtake in. Maybe we could get the same kind of overtake we got on Piastri earlier once more. But no, we're not able to do that as Piastri completes the move on Pierre Gasly. So now it's time to see how good our pace is compared to Gasly. Of course, the Renault engine is the weakest engine on the grid, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be reflected here in this race as Gasly has dropped us out of DRS and is still battling with Piastri. He's actually gotten in front of Piastri again as we are now contending with the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton once more. And my engineer, yeah, he's talking about a lot of tyre wear. We do have a lot of tyre wear on these mediums. They are not good at all, and we are going to come in 2 laps early because it's a necessity. By the time we get onto lap 7, Gasly is now 2 seconds ahead, and Hamilton is getting past us. And now Sainz is looking to get past us. Leclerc isn't too far behind. We are on the ropes. It is not looking good for us at all on these mediums, and lap 10 cannot come soon enough. I cannot pit any earlier than that because that will jeopardize the hard tires. But we're going to make a move past Hamilton. We did get DRS, so we're able to keep P6, but yeah, we're going to have to defend that a little bit more and lose more time to the guys in front. Even though Gasly and Piastri are fighting, it really doesn't mean anything, as now we go on to lap 8. They are now over 3 seconds ahead as Hamilton once again overtakes us. This time we've got the move to the outside, and I don't know who got DRS there. It might be us, it might be Hamilton. We'll have to find out as we cross the DRS line now, and it is us, but we're still side by side with Hamilton. Leclerc is going to make it 3 wide here. Let's see if he can make a move. He doesn't. We're going to get to the apex first break a lot later, but Leclerc is still there as he dances the car around the outside of us, and that is a beautiful double overtake for Charles Leclerc there. What other F1 game had AI like this? This is amazing. But now we go on to our pit lap. I'm not going to fight Hamilton at all. Leclerc is now 2 seconds ahead of us in just the space of 2 laps. So I think that just goes to show how cooked the medium tyres are for this racing ball in Jeddah. Antonelli's not too far behind, but looks like we are in a good chance of getting points as Russell is about 6 seconds behind. It's just how many we get is down to this second stint. And also down to the pit crew, because if the pit crew have a bad pit stop here, that's not going to be good, is it? But look at this. Those tyres are absolutely cooked, but we put on those shiny, cold, hard tyres and look to see where we're going to come out. Of course, Sainz is there. Hulkenberg not too far behind him. Are we going to come out in front of Sainz? Yes, we are. So it's a P14 right now. I don't know where that is in the grand scheme of things. We are pitting 2 laps before most other people, so it really depends how our pace is in this clean air right now. We're looking to catch up to Ocon, Doohan, and our teammate Isaac Hadjar, who are all engaged in a battle. So we're going to look to get some slipstream off of Ocon. We've got DRS. We're going to use a little bit of ERS. I don't want to use too much. We know we're going to be quicker than these guys. And Doohan, Hadjar nearly side by side. Hadjar's going to go to the inside. He's looking there, but Doohan defends that really well. And we are almost pushing Ocon through these corners. This is the issue with a street circuit as narrow as Jeddah. You're not going to get these overtakes in at all. It's going to be so difficult to get it done because of how narrow the track is, and you can lose so much time versus somebody who's in clean air, which is why I am absolutely desperate to get past these guys into clean air so I can make up as much time as possible after all the ones we lost on the mediums. And to show you that desperation, we are now diving on the inside of Esteban Ocon. He is still there though. Goes to show maybe the Haas still has some good pace in it, but Ocon has definitely dropped off a little bit after starting in the top 10. So that's not good for him. Sainz is on fresh hards behind him, so he's going to lose the position as well as we look to make our move past our teammate Isaac Hadjar, who seems to be doing all right if he's already passed Ocon already. So it's a good start for him, I suppose, as we go on to the inside of Jack Doohan. That's a great move there, but you know, I'm not going to rave too much about it. We're on much fresher tyres, so Doohan was always going to go slow through that corner. Of course, we now need to defend into this next one with DRS, so we'll be dumping ERS down this next straight just to make sure we stay ahead. But honestly, around that final corner, we gained a lot of time. Isaac Hadjar now overtaking Doohan. Sainz is there as well. Sainz might be overtaking Hadjar. And he does, so a good move for Sainz there. I wish I'd have recorded that on the post-race replay, because that might have been a really cool move to watch. But that's really impressive from the Williams and Sainz now, and our race from here on out is pretty much getting as far ahead of Sainz as possible. Leclerc, however, is on much fresher hards. He is just 2.5 seconds behind us, but we are able to push Sainz out of DRS, so at least our pace versus the Williams is really showing, so that's good right here. But yeah, Sainz has had a good race. Gasly, he's out of contention for the top 4, but that's going to be an easy P5 for him. That's big points for Alpine. That's exactly what they need as we now go on to lap 16, over a second ahead of Sainz. So Leclerc's going to get an easy move on Sainz going on to the next lap. And yeah, going on to that next lap, Leclerc's pace is insane. He is scorching past us. In fact, he's probably quick enough to go catch Gasly, but not while we have DRS. As long as we have DRS, we are going to remain in this fight. I can't listen to that objective of charging ERS, not when I'm in a fight as intense as this, as we get as much slipstream as possible and we peel off to the right, go and get to the apex first. It's going to be an easy move for us, but Leclerc is a lot faster. This is going to be our fight from here on out. Hamilton just over 7 seconds behind, but you're going to want to keep an eye on that with all this fighting going on with Leclerc. It's now down to 6 seconds as Leclerc comes past. I am saving my ERS throughout the lap as Oscar Piastri, the bad luck continues. He is out of the race. Honestly, I cannot wait until he gets his driver rating upgrade, but by the time he does, it might be too late. We might be seeing Lando Norris as the world champion for our season. I don't know though. We are only 4 or 5 races in, so you know, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But we're still in front of Leclerc, but that's gained Hamilton nearly a second. And by the time we get up to lap 21, Hamilton is literally just out of DRS. So in hindsight, this definitely wasn't the right choice. Maybe we should have let Leclerc go out in front, because he is clearly a lot quicker than us, and the only reason we're staying in contention is with this DRS. But all this fighting side by side has allowed Hamilton to catch up, which means our worst case scenario of maybe a P6 may now be a P7, maybe even worse. I just wasn't thinking while fighting Leclerc. I was in tunnel vision. I was so focused on fighting Leclerc that I didn't notice Hamilton was, coming in on us like a missile from 7 seconds into DRS range, and now we're on lap 23, 2 laps to go. It's not looking good for us because these two Ferraris, they're going to work together, aren't they? I highly doubt they're going to fight each other as we now once again get overtaken by Leclerc. But there goes Hamilton as well. We're still side by side with him though, so there's a good chance we can end up in front of him. If we end up behind the two Ferraris, it is game, set and match. I highly doubt we'll be able to overtake two Ferraris going into one corner as we now peel off to the right. It's now 3 wide with the two Ferraris, and we are going to brake later than any of them to reach the apex first. That's kind of my goal here. Hamilton's looking to make a copycat move that Leclerc did earlier on in the race, but he is not able to do it. We've done a lot better there coming out of the exit, but now going on to lap 24, this is crucial for Ferrari as Hamilton gets in front of us and now Leclerc gets in front of us, and they are fully in front of us. There's no side-by-side going on here, and it is, like I said, game, set, match. It is over for us. Even with the DRS, we could possibly maybe get a P6, but Leclerc's looking for a move on Hamilton, and look at the two Ferraris defending against us there. I bet the engineer got on the radio to let them know about that, but that pretty much ends our race right there. As we look further up the field, Lando Norris, a really easy victory for him after that move on Verstappen. Verstappen's pace was just not good. A bad start and a bad race overall, as Yuki Tsunoda is going to get a P2. He's going to get a driver rating downgrade, but he's had a really good season so far. There might have been some questions, some doubts about Yuki this season versus us with how well we were doing, but Yuki, since that first race mishap, fighting so much with Verstappen, seems to have come into his own a little bit. I think he had a P11 in China or somewhere, which wasn't good. But overall, he's had a pretty good race. But there's the Ferraris coming home in P5 and P6. P7 is all we could muster up, which is still an improvement over our starting position of P8. But it really could have been and should have been P6. Yeah, I need to do better in terms of my awareness next time.
The checkered flag, and our winner has Landoed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
But another race victory today, and you can clearly see they're starting to believe in themselves more and more. You get to a stage, Crofty, where you become very hard to beat as a driver when you keep putting in performances like this one.
And once all the hard work is over, and after lap of brilliant racing, it's time now to celebrate with our podium trio. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in myself for that. That was at least the P6 was on offer today. But I was just so focused on trying to keep that P5 that I ended up losing both of them and finishing up in P7. Still better than our P8 starting position and the P9 qualifying position after Leclerc's penalty. But yeah, again, I should have done a lot better. I'm really disappointed in myself. Pierre Gasly, P4. That's a big 12 points haul for Alpine. Antonelli and Russell were able to get back into the top 10. Sainz P8, so pretty good there. Alonso was driver of the day, jumping up from P17 to 11. Good for him. Ocon fell outside of the points, which is really unlucky for him. We've seen him in Q3 numerous times this season. In terms of driver standings, we have now been overtaken by Hamilton. It will not be long before the likes of Russell, Tsunoda, Leclerc and Piastri overtake us. It's just a matter of time. I think some people had some growing pains coming into this season with these cars, the new strategies and stuff. And in like all honesty, it's probably the AI having some growing pains, just fighting with each other so much to the point that we've been able to take advantage of it. But maybe it will start unraveling from here. Next time we've got a pretty tough weekend ahead of us. It is a sprint weekend in Miami, so there's a lot more points on offer there, but it might be a lot more difficult for us as well. It's actually quite a similar track to Jeddah, really, with the 2 different overtaking spots and the rest of it being narrow. We'll have to see how that goes. But guys, cheers for watching. If you liked it, be sure to check out my team episode and the rest of the episodes of this series. And without further ado, I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more F125.